¿Cómo se llama?
Tony Slumz.
All right, man, and we can officially begin.
Officially begin.
All right, what up? My name is Tony Slumz, and I'm a producer, writer, and engineer.
I'm TadGhost. I'm a producer, engineer, designer, close, newly,
and future mogul.
Yes.
Yeah, man. We don't have a name for this yet. I don't think so. We had it Without Rhyme Reason. Another one was Make It Make Sense. I'm
The Purdue cast.
Yeah. We do shit sometimes.
That's a good one. We do shit sometimes.
We do things sometimes, because it's got to be marketable. It's got to be marketable, which is something we're going to talk about.
Yeah, you're right.
I would like to think mission statement, I guess, is we just want to share some knowledge that we may or may not have, open up a discussion with other budding producers, engineers, writers, and I think that's basically what I want out of this. I want to open up another dialogue with more people, because that shit always makes things better for me. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you want out of this?
Well, the same thing. Just to be able to talk about new stuff producers might not hear normally, educate, share any knowledge that we see along the way, interact with the community that we're about to build,
Yeah, man. And
that's like one of the most important things.
Yeah,
is
building
interaction with
building a community, or seeing what community is already out there. Because I think one of the things we forget is that we get so caught up in our own bubbles and shit that we think it's just us.
Oh, most definitely.
And
especially when you're in a studio by yourself, like,
yeah, man,
it's your own little bubble,
and it's hard to leave because spam caller.
Always.
And it's very easy to get stuck in your own bubble, because you don't really need to leave. Like, I consider myself a little weird because I like going to other people's fucking spots. It doesn't bother me coming here, working on FL Studio when I have Machine and MPC at my spot in Pro Tools. But most producers I know, it's like pulling teeth.
Pulling teeth, dog, to get them out of their little hole, their little dungeon.
Yeah.
Excuse me. To get them out their little dungeon, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, man. I mean, come on, bro. You got the straight up NPR voice. You got to use that shit.
Stop.
But yeah, getting people out of the dungeons and shit like that. It is something that I think it's it's a real fucking problem, And I've tried understanding it, and I think a lot of it is just that we do we hold our own little bubbles to like this magical area of like, I can only cook up here, and
most definitely.
Like, what's some of the stuff that, like, all right, let's say today someone says, hey, yo, I need you to fly out to Washington. I want you to produce for me. What do you need there? What do you need waiting for you in order for you to feel like going to a brand new place? You don't know nobody but the one person who invited you, who happens to be an artist who already fucks with your sound. So there's no translation needed, anything like that. What are you hoping to have there ready to go, and what are you taking with you?
Oh, I just need somewhere to hook up my computer and we're ready to go.
That's it.
That's all I need. Yeah. If the person's ready to work, I'm good. Like, I'm ready to work. Like, hook me up to the computer. Let's go. Especially if the person already knows who I am and is fucking with my sound and is telling me, hey, pull up to my spot. Where do I hook up my computer? Let's go. That's
go.
all I need.
That's it.
And I'll bring my computer, my interface, most likely like a MIDI keyboard just in case, just because like I like cooking up in the hotel too, like right after the studio or any type of sessions that we usually
and you'll
have.
take this one like the
No, I have a little mini one.
Actually. Oh, a little MPK, right?
Yeah, it's a little mini MPK right behind the right there, my G. Behind the tractor.
Oh, shit. I had one of these. I love this shit.
I love it.
All right, yeah. And this is going to be a whole nother conversation. But, yo, my guys, if you're starting up as a producer and anything like that, I think usually these bitches only run like $100.
They're very cheap.
Don't sleep on.
You don't need a fucking 49 key keyboard.
No,
I don't
not
even
to
know.
Start.
I don't even know if we're cursing. Excuse me.
I've been cursing since we started.
I don't see. It's so fluid.
Yeah, I know.
It's just so
it's gonna happen. Fuck it. It's gonna happen.
You don't need a 49 key keyboard. No. I mean, if you are working on a budget, it is
exactly. And and that's something like with me. All right, let's say someone were to hit me up and go, "Oh, yo, come out here." Like my first thought is, okay, I want some 805s ready to go. I need my drink. You know what I mean? Even though I don't drink anymore when I cook up in my own home, but if I'm gonna go somewhere else for some weird reason, it's like I need some sort of fucking interactional lube. Like I need to be able to fucking because sometimes you'll overthink, and that's the thing. The biggest problem I think as to why a lot of producers don't go to another producer spot is we don't want to overstep. We don't want to overthink, and we don't want to be introduced with the dog we don't know. Mm-hmm. I think there is that feeling of and I remember when I started in 03 and shit, FL Studio, I started on FL Studio, and it was like the fucking garbage. Don't bring that shit around here.
What is
fucking,
this? What is this fucking minesweeper?
A little bullshit.
A fucking minesweeper,
yeah, man. But now it's a fucking staple.
Now it's because it's very, well, at least from my workflow, right? You got to think of how your workflow is. For me, it was a godsend. I saw it and it was just something different for me because I was using Ableton before.
Oh, okay.
That was the first one that I used was Ableton,
really?
And it was cool.
This is math. I hate Ableton.
It's an excellent DAW. It just was not for me. I just could not. There was just a missync for me. I just couldn't. I didn't fuck with it. I just couldn't do it. And then the homie told me to put FL Studio on my computer, and that was it. After that,
yeah, FL Studio is a fucking beast, man. Mm-hmm. I fuck with it. I don't have it in my shit anymore because I went from FL to Machine, which I fell in love with Machine. And then from there I got the MPC, which I use for my performances, and then I jumped back to the Machine because it's more versatile for what I need. I tried Ableton, and I could not. I
respect anybody that uses it fluidly.
Man. But it's like Pro Tools a little bit too. I heard a lot of people say it's like, oh, it's like I don't understand how people use Pro Tools, and I'm like, I love Pro Tools. Also too, when I was using it when I first was learning how to use a DAW, so I could probably use it now that I know a little bit more translation
what the fuck I'm doing
and stuff
here.
like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, like the other day when I was using FL Studio, it literally just took all right,
here's what you do here, you go.
Where's what I need? I know what I'm looking for, and I think sometimes we hold these things like big ass monsters, and they're not. Once you learn one DAW, you can eventually learn all of them. You need a record button, a play button. That's pretty much it.
That's it.
How do I find the drums? How do I find the VSTs? Where's the samples at and shit like that? Yeah. What drum kits do you have? That's a big one. Yeah.
Drum kits is it's a big one.
I got 2 hard drives, and I take about 3-4 gigs anywhere I go, USB drives. Which is drum kits.
Reddit, you guys, I'm gonna give you a little pro tip. Reddit, if you're starting off and you need some drum kits for the free, Reddit, trust me, you can get some free drum kits on Reddit.
Another good thing too, if you guys
Reddit's don't sleep on it.
If you're semi starting up and you kind of you're damn, my shit isn't being heard or people aren't playing my shit, look up challenges.
Yep.
You'll find so many challenges on fucking Twitter, on Instagram. I think even TikTok's now doing challenges and shit like that. And a lot of it will be from higher level producers who are offering their kits along with the challenge. So you got to think about it, man. You're 1 in 400 people doing the challenge, or even 1,000 people doing the challenge. Don't even think about winning. Just think about 1,000 other motherfuckers are gonna listen to your shit, thinking, do I have is this guy better than me? You know what I mean? Because you're gonna check out the competition. So I always advise anybody to do challenges. I fuck with challenges heavy.
It's good to and get your name out there too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
A new way to get some sounds, a new way to try something new. You know what I mean? Might be a style that you're not used to normally doing, a style that you don't, normally gravitate to, and just kind of create out of your shell. You know what I mean? There's one thing. Oh, sorry. Go for it. No, there's one thing I want to highlight. Going to a new place, I want to highlight one thing that has helped me, because that used to fucking terrify me. Yeah. Going to a new place and creating and being like, I'm gonna have a creative block. I'm gonna have a creative block. Yes. I'm gonna be like, I can fucking create by myself all fucking day. You know what I mean? Like, I could create all fucking day. People, here, and then I go to a spot where, okay, now I need you to perform. Yeah. For me, the way I got over that was, I know how to create. This is not something new for me. I'm just in a new place. I already do this all the fucking time. I'm already doing this. Like, what the fuck? Like, what am I tripping about? This is just a new location. I just need to familiarize myself with the location real quick. Yep. I just need to get comfortable real quick. Look around, scope it out real quick. It's not, I'm not doing anything new. I do this all the time already. I'm just in a new location. The moment I figured that out. That's it. And that's why a lot of it is, the person wants you there. Exactly. Now, the second idea of that is a homie invited you, and he puts you on the spot. Oh. And you just showed up as a friend. You didn't take none of your shit with you. The homie invited. Let's say you just go to San Diego right now, and you just, hey man, we're cooking up. What's good? And of course, as it always goes, yo, the homie Ghost makes beats. Oh, bet, come cook up. No, same thing. No different. I always, especially if I'm hanging around with somebody that I know either raps or makes beats, I just always off top assume I might work. Yeah. So I just kind of go with that with the back of my head of like, and if I don't, then I could just chill and relax and I'm cool and it's nothing. Because I have the issue that I've ran into a lot of studio sessions is that not a lot of people use Machine. Mm-hmm. And I'll take my shit with me, and it's like, all they have is Logic and Pro Tools. And I'm like, Logic and Pro Tools. I'm like, you motherfuckers. So I have my MPC, which is standalone. I'll literally cook up beats on the MPC, export, drop them directly on there. Already exported. It's hard. But I've used Logic, and I hate Logic. But I've never used Logic. I've seen it, and they're fucking beast on it. And I'm like, I wish it's just, it's like it's learning a different language. You know what I mean? Completely. Or learning a some of these dialect. Some of these DAWs have like different terms for the same fucking the exact same thing. Shit. Yes. And that's like their own little. I respect it's their own little. Yeah, their own little flavor. Sauce, their own little flavor for what they have for their DAW. But it's like confusing sometimes. It's like, find your own little whatever fucking mechanism it's called. It's like, where is the beep? Where's the tap tempo? You're talking about the low pass filter. Like, why are you giving this some stupid ass name? Yeah, man. And it's just like, all right, fuck. And that is a spread. That's not even specific to one DAW. That is spread out across every DAW. They have their own little filter. Low pass. Not filter. They have their own little flavor too. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly, dude. And it's those little things that, if you're not confident in what you bring to the table, will trip you up. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, and it's something that I've been at it before. Where the first time I started going out to different studios, I always brought a camera with me. Because at the very least, I'm a cameraman. Oh yeah. Like I'm like, yo, he makes beats. I dabble a little bit because everyone who's around will always do something, and I'm like, oh no, but I'm just cameraman, because it did take a while for me to feel like I belonged. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's that imposter syndrome and shit that we get sometimes, where it's like, I'm only here because the homie invited me. I'm not really here because I'm supposed to be here and shit like that. But that is something that does go through, and I think a lot of people end up going through that as well too. Of you're not supposed to be in imposter syndrome in a specific room. Yeah, yeah. I feel that. I felt that early on. Actually, I only felt that once until y'all normally roll everywhere as a squad though. Yeah, yeah. But it's still you look at it from me, like, been doing music for 10 years, but producing for 6 now. I want to say maybe 5 or 6 now. So what were you doing at first? I was playing acoustic. I was playing drums. Okay. That was the first period of my musical. So you started as a drummer? As a drummer. Oh, okay. I started as a drummer in a thrash metal band. Fuck. Yeah. I've been around people that have pushed me to be really good. I've been very fortunate. I've been around people that pushed me to be very good immediately. Like I wanted to play originally like music like Arctic Monkeys,
fuck yes,
fucking the Smiths, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The Strokes, Block Party, stuff like that, which was still
hard.
pretty up, like fast up tempo, but was not thrash metal, fucking crazy BPM,
but
drums,
hard,
double
though.
pedal. Yeah,
like
exactly.
right now the homie Junie's doing that type of music, like fucking, you know, pop punk and shit.
It was, so I'm talking about like, I was very fortunate to be around early on people that were like, no, you need to learn how to do this crazy shit immediately. And then that, you know, transferred into kind of like me having to build patience for it, bro, because like you're learning how to do a crazy genre like immediately, right? And then now I transfer that. Now the reason why I say that is because that carried on to over here, because I've been around people that have been doing this for a long time who have also pushed me to be better than what I had seen myself as, and have always pushed me, and then them pushing themselves too, and then me seeing like, well, I don't want to be somebody that's always going to be I guess one sound, one note, one sound, and not even putting my due diligence and effort. I'm starting off at the beginning, so you have a lot to learn immediately straight off the bat, when a lot of people have been doing it for a while. So you really have to take your work ethic and double it to catch up. You have to catch up. You have to play catch up. Now, mind you, I did music, but you have to play catch up. So there's a lot, you know. So people that feel like it might be too late, it's never too late. If you put the work in, you'll be
what aided the transition from that to this?
I got kicked out the band for no fucking reason. Straight up, no.
You're off the kit.
Keep it a buck with you, dog.
Bro?
Hey, man, I fucking, because I was doing some other stuff, right? We had been a band for fucking years, and then we ended up kind of splitting ways, and you know, I was doing some other stuff with my life, and then came back and was in the band for a month, maybe like 2 months, right? Banged out a whole bunch of new music. Got the boot.
Damn.
Had the bug for music. I hadn't been doing music prior to that, like for years, right?
Yeah.
I had taken a break, and then got the bug again, and then I saw them started doing music again. I was like, well, I'm just the type of person that wants to do music, whatever it is, however it is. I just want to
be around it.
Just want to be around music, and I just want to participate in music. So if I was like, well, these are what all the homies is doing, I'll just learn how to make beats then. Fuck it. I was already a drummer. I'll just learn how to make beats.
Yeah, just translate it over and shit like that.
And that was it. That's literally what happened. I got kicked out, and I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just do this then.
Did you ever go back? Not to that. Would you ever go back to drumming and doing a band?
Oh, most definitely. That's like the plan. That's like down the road.
I would fucking hope so. Because that shit's dope, man. And you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, mine was the opposite. I had one mentor who I learned what he knew early on. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And then the rest was just like, figure it out.
Yep.
And like, figure out your sound and figure out this. And I grew up on hip hop, and I've done nothing but hip hop. And I've always had an interest in everything else. Like, I love fucking, like in the 90s, I would listen to 9 Inch Nails, Marcy's Playground.
Oh, you're talking my language too, fool.
Like all that shit. Plus, Mexican as fuck, so I used to listen to fucking Chente, corridos, all that shit. And it was just, I guess at first I thought that, well, you can only use this to do this. You can only use online or stuff like that to only do hip hop. You can't do anything else. Or EDM at first. I was like, oh, you can only make EDM off of FL Studio. Right. That was then I saw people making hip hop off it. I'm like, oh shit. And you know, but there are the little, as the more and more you learn, the easier it is to like bend the rules and then manipulate it and find your sound consistently
and be comfortable to experiment to find your sound. Man. That's like one of the most important things I can just say. Is like, fuck it, just do whatever you want to do. Like, I know that everybody says that, but from personal experience, just do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah, dude, because it's a constant evolution. Like,
constant fleshing out your sound, your ideas.
It's a constant evolution, and it's constantly changing and remaining the same. We're always going backwards to the shit that we love. Like, there's nostalgia in that shit. Like, right now, there's a resurgence of pop punk.
Oh, most definitely.
Pop punk is starting to come up, and then when you think about it, you're like,
with trap beats.
Yeah,
it fucking blew my mind.
But think about it as to why it happened. All right, now let's go back to, I'm 34 years old.
Ditto.
All right, bet. Old heads. Now, I don't have kids. Ditto. Let's say we did have a kid At 18. That's you know what? Let's be super irresponsible, but no judgment. Let's say we had a kid at 15.
Okay.
All right, that would have been 2003-ish. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, 2003. What was hot around 2003? You're talking about, I think,
Simple Plan, Good
Charlotte.
Yeah.
If you're
Avril
talking
Lavigne,
hip hop, you're talking Cameron.
Yep.
I think Kanye dropped College Dropout. Offspring.
There's a lot of.
I was heavy into underground, so I was heavy
System
into
of a
Atmosphere.
Down, Avenged Sevenfold.
Fucking Chop Suey, yes. So, okay, we have that kid. Now, what ends up happening, I've talked to friends who have kids, is usually what happens. Life stops. So the music that you're listening to at that point is what you listen to. That's why you have a lot of older heads and be like, music changed. Because, like, you broke away from you stopped looking for new music because you had to take care of a diaper. You know what I mean? And then so you're bumping that music and your kid falls in love with that music. Your kids wakes up listening to, aside from the stuff you learn from your parents and everything like that, he or she wakes up listening to Atmosphere, Avenged Sevenfold, Paramore,
Atmosphere,
Offspring, MF Doom, like,
rest in peace.
If you're a well-rounded, like, people who likes that, if you were into music at that age, 2003, 2005, that's the shit you were getting into. Let's see if it stopped. It's still going. So now that's your kid, all the way up until they're 18, and they start fucking developing their own sound, and they start listening to their music. And the first thing you do as an artist is you look back at your old shit, or the shit you grew up into. The first thing I did when I started making beats was I was remembering, oh my God, I love oldies. And it turned out that oldie flipping was a real thing. So, of course, I'd be a sample head.
There you go.
I'm assuming you as a drummer, you fell in love with trap drums because they're fucking all over the place.
That's thrash metal. That's why I fucking...
Right?
And it's very fast paced, very... Exactly. Yeah, it's very fast paced, very just high energetic. That's why I like that.
And the melodies background for the most part. The drums are in your face a little bit more.
And a lot of the bass is up front too. Mind you, it's not sub bass, but it's like acoustic, distorted, and fucking the finger picking of the bass is crazy.
And a lot of bands
as a different texture versus the pick. You're using your finger.
And the lyrics are very just say what you mean, what you mean for this moment.
Boom, boom, can be very dark, can be political, can be.
But at the end of the day, it's riding the beat.
Exactly.
So now you
fast
have
and
these
angry and energetic
18, 20-year-olds who were born in 2000. Now it's 2021. They're 21-year-olds now who grew up with, I love my parents' music, and they're talking about Offspring. The kids are all right. And they're like, oh yeah, my dad used to bump this song all the fucking time. Like, that's
grew up listening to that music. Yeah, Offspring. That's
and
crazy.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. Pop punk is having that resurgence with
most definitely
hip hop, because at 2005, 2003 was when that's when shit started really, the melting pot began. You know, R&B, everything started to sound like hip hop, because hip hop is such a blank canvas. You're looking at a 4/4 count. Bass line, and do whatever you want. And you could sing, you could rap. It's very open to experimentation.
It's become very, very inclusive to just allowing people create within that space. It's the reason why it's become the number one genre. Like it is the number. It's literally the number one genre
because it's,
look it up. It's like
everything. Tyler.
Bro, Tyler
has evolved.
That distinct wave.
I hated early Tyler because I didn't understand it.
See, I understood it.
I didn't understand it.
I fucking understood that shit. I felt like so I was going through college. I was like 20s, 23, 20, maybe 22. I can't remember, dog. I was like, but I understood I don't know, dog. I came from like that punk era, you know what I mean? Of like, I understood the fuck you, fuck this, fuck. If you don't understand me, then fuck you too.
Like I understood a little bit of it because I grew up on Eminem, and Eminem had that shit. But Eminem had like that undeniable skill,
right?
Whereas Tyler, his words were just grimy.
grit,
and you
raw.
had to really like dissect it to find like the extra, like the nuances, because he was doing entendres, he was doing multisyllabic, he was
Plus
doing a lot of shit.
The visuals
were ridiculous. But with me, I'm a weirdo. I never really liked visuals. I hated visuals because I want to do other things at the same time.
Right.
And I'm like, you're taking two of my senses. I'm not only am I hearing you, I have to see you now. Like,
oh, I love
this. Is a fucking like I'd rather do something else and listen. So like that's why I fell in love with the underground so much. Underground, it was hard for them to get visuals.
Right.
So a lot of it was just throw it on, fucking bump it and ride, and it was like, oh my god, Little Brother was my shit, you know. And I became that person who I hate now, which is that shit sucks just because they didn't understand it. You know what I mean? Now I look back at myself and I'm like, god damn, I slept on Ross, I slept on Tyler, I slept on some fucking greats because to me they went straight to mainstream, but I didn't do the research to be like, nah, all these motherfuckers grinded. There's no such thing as overnight.
No, not at all.
And it is one of those things that like now when I catch people, they're like, oh, everything sucks now, there's no real hip hop. I'm like,
there's real hip hop. They if they say that,
I should be like, listen to Corday,
Griselda.
If
in real hip hop, I don't like the term real hip hop because there's no such thing.
Yeah.
It's very inclusive to different styles. But I understand what they mean by the real hip hop. They're looking for 90s traditional hip hop, which I understand. And again, that era was excellent, but. I mean, there's Griselda. Griselda's killing it.
Was it excellent? It was cool. But there's better shit.
I will say it's excellent, but I won't say it's the best. You know what I mean?
It's whatever time you ended at. You know what I mean? Like
it was its own era, and it was an excellent era. Yes. You know what I mean? And I'm not the type of person that's gonna put one era over the other because as you live through the eras, you're
in it. If you're in it, it's impossible to really compare the two.
The 90s as a kid, you know what I mean? Like I listened to what I could as a fucking kid, you know.
Yeah.
But you don't really register it as much until you're 10 years old to, you know, the next 10 years from 10 to 20. Like you're registering music differently.
So much. You're fucking just soaking up everything. And you're trying to find what moves you. You know what I mean? You're trying to find that
what
sound.
You gravitate to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? How do you feel? How do I feel right now? And this is how the music is being translated.
And unfortunately, you'll have sometimes your friends will be like, oh, you like that? And then it's like, I'm not supposed to like this shit. Like,
yeah, I was very like, I don't give a fuck what you like. Like, I like what I like. I've always been like that. I don't give a fuck like what you like. Like whatever you like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whatever you like. I have no judgment. But I know what you're talking about. Motherfuckers being like, what? You listen to that shit?
You listen to that shit?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I will bump the fuck out of Miley Cyrus Party in the USA. Are you kidding me? Let me roll up the window real quick and fucking sing my ass off.
Imagine flipping that shit into a beat.
No, you know what I really want to flip?
Imagine flipping that one.
I want to flip Ace of Base.
Oh my god!
I saw the sign.
That one right there. I was trying to remember what the fuck that name was.
Or Don't Turn Around.
Oh no!
Don't turn around.
Yeah, dog.
I could think,
I want to.
But that's the thing. It's a weird. It's either flipping the beat or creating a new beat on the same key and doing the hook, having someone reimagine the hook.
I would have to hear it. It's been a while since I've heard it.
Yeah.
But
dude, I have so many of like these songs in the back of my head
the most obscure 90s songs
that I'm just like I want to tell you.
Love songs.
Like Lit Miserable is a good one.
Which one's Lit?
The Pamela Anderson video.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. All right, when it comes down to videos, rock videos, I'd always watch. I'd fucking love like that was always my
Tool.
shit. Black Hole Sun, fucking Soundgarden.
Tool had
some fucking shit.
Yes. That was probably top 3 bands growing up. Slayer was the other one. Megadeth was the other one. Yeah, I had some crazy. I had some crazy bands I listened to. Megadeth, Slayer, and Tool.
I heard Slayer a handful of times, and I'm like, I don't want to murder anyone today. But now I bump the shit out of Run the Jewels, which if you listen to Run the Jewels, it's fucking just ridiculous, fucking in your face.
In your fucking face, dog.
You just want to punch anybody who the fuck want to get this fist and shit.
Which was dope when I saw Travis break the mold of crowd surfing and doing elements that I saw in thrash metal. Now you gotta understand, for me, right? Like I had listened to a lot of music growing up, but a lot of the people that were around me, right, were playing acoustic music we're in bands and shit. That's why it was
geared towards that.
Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't around anybody that was making beats or knew where to even fucking start. Most of it was acoustic music of the sort. So that's where I gravitated more to it. You know what I mean? To actually play the drums and shit like that. Fuck, I forgot what we were talking about.
Travis,
thank you. Fucking, so coming from a thrash metal background and seeing a hip hop artist with the same energy as a thrash metal artist, crowd surfing and literally fucking raging, like
being a rock star.
Being a fucking rock star, you gotta understand, for me it was like
coming from the vein of Cuddy. Because you got to think about it. That's
exactly who was another motherfucker that I listened to heavily. And now you see elements of him.
His break from there was like the EDM raving side.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was very similar. High energy, rage, party in your face. Let's turn the fuck up. Don't worry about the fuck going on. Yep. Let's just have a good fucking time. Let's turn the fuck up. Like, that was perfect. Yeah. That's why I immediately gravitate, bro. I'm telling you, like, when that day... I will argue Days Before Rodeo is his best album. I will argue. You see, I need to check that shit out because I'm not familiar with Travis at all. Like, I know who he is because it's fucking, he's literally one of the biggest artists out there, so it's impossible for me. But I haven't understood the language yet. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of it is when you're getting into different music and shit. Sometimes it's just like, yo, it's a different language.
Completely different.
You know what I mean? Because I remember me and my boy used to argue.
Completely different energy.
Yeah.
Completely different energy.
Like when the mumble rap shit was popping off, a lot of cats was like, oh, it's fucking garbage. And I'm like, you just don't understand what they're saying. Like if I play Mexican rap for you, you're going to be like, I don't understand it. It's the exact same. You just don't understand what they're like. The translate is missing, but the beats are dope. Like, how the fuck do you hate it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's still
different bounces, different energy, different melodies, fucking integrating literally trap EDM sounds to trap hip hop. Like, you feel me, dog? Like,
yeah,
just like revolutionary.
It was just this constant melting pot, man. And then do you bump fucking Nuck If You Buck and you tell me you don't want to just fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
go fucking crazy.
Yeah. And then crazy. If you grew up listening to
Still Tipping.
Yes, exactly. Or 3-6.
Oh man.
Or 3-6. It's like you can see where's a
speaking my shit you right just now, dog.
Like, oh, that's where it's all connected and shit. And on the other side of it, you have, of course, like I said, I grew up on the Atmospheres, Rhyme Sayers, Def Jux and shit. And then you start seeing like, oh, the Kendricks start popping off, the Coles popping off. And
that's crazy. I would listen to all the ratchet hip hop growing up.
See,
it's crazy. This is dope because we have two different.
Completely.
It's awesome. Yeah. I listen to all the ratchet shit.
Well, shit. The time we collabed, I started off with Keys, like on some straight, like, and then as soon as you added your shit, it went from bright to dark, and it was like a perfect like gray right there in the middle. Area. Yeah, of like, okay, cool, man. Because I grew up to a lot of major keys or samples, which. A lot of soul samples are in majors, and it's just, and then you just pitch them down, you blend them and shit like that. So, yeah, and I was all clarity. Everything was clarity. I need to hear everything this person's saying. Like you're talking about, like Jay-Z and Nas, where it's just
you need to hear every bar that I'm saying because every bar that I'm saying is important. So you better be fucking listening.
Listen to that. Exactly. It's a triple entendre because if you remember what I said in the first bar, it's connected to this, and it's and then you go into the trap shit where it's like. This shit is just dumb. Like, it's fucking, like, I cannot not enjoy this shit. And I remember arguing with my boy about that shit, and he's all, do a trap song. Like, straight put me on blast. I'm like, I can do that shit. It's easy. It's so hard to find something so simple that's still gonna last.
Right.
That shit is fucking.
It's difficult.
It's a slap in the face when you're like, I could do that, and then you're like, I don't know how the fuck they
it's
do
humbling.
This shit. It's humbling as fuck, man, because it's like, oh, this is a language. As I said, it's a language that motherfuckers speak and shit. You know what I mean? Like, yes,
and then they fully integrate themselves, and yeah, man. And they both can live in the same space. That's what people don't understand. That's the beauty. They can both live in the same space. There's you can love, you know, tradition, whatever you want to call it, whatever fucking people call it, boom bap, traditional hip hop, right? Like, whatever people want to call it.
You go off of the name of the beat. Right. How does the beat sound? Exactly. It sounds trappy or it sounds boom bappy. Then you meet in the middle, man. You got some R&B ish set, you know what I mean? You got some, but it's like nowadays it's just there's no mainstream anymore.
People want to pick sides. You could live in the same space, and just because people don't understand it doesn't mean they need to hate it.
Man.
Just don't listen to it. It's that easy.
And pull your influences. I think a lot of times the as my sound got better and more honed, I started pulling a lot of my old influences and shit like that. Like there was a time where I would never sample Vicente Fernandez because that's the GOAT. Now
that would be a sample for fucking sure.
I've done a handful of them already. I've done like 2 or 3, and I love sampling them. Limite, Selena. I got a sample flip of Selena.
That's hard.
That's fucking dope.
Rest in peace, Queen.
Yeah, man. So it's one of those things that like now I'm kind of like, fuck. Like, why did I set these rules for myself? Like, but it's normal. You know what I mean? It really is normal as a creative. I think rules are good early on.
At least. I wouldn't say rules. I would say more like fundamentals is good early on.
Yeah.
But it's normal for a person that's creating initially to set boundaries on themselves because most people don't know any better. Now, not to say that it's every person, obviously.
Yeah. There's some fucking virtuosos out there who
are
are
just I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want.
Like, what do you mean? I can pick up this sax right now.
But the norm,
the
norm is you kind of work inside the box and you learn to work outside of it. Eventually, you grow to
out.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the comfort of like, hey, I'm starting to really learn how to get this. I'm not really caring what people are telling me how this sounds or whatever, and I'm liking how this is going, and I feel I have a direction where I'm going, so I'm gonna just keep going with that feeling in that direction, and that's what eventually molds your sound. You're gonna have to learn a little bit of taking some input from people while also staying true to your vision. That's like the main thing.
And knowing what your vision is. I mean, because it's hard to stay true if you're just winging it all the time.
Oh yeah,
and it's like well, I mean, this is what I do, and it's like but you have to know why you do what you do.
Right.
And I think sometimes that is a conversation a lot of people don't like having. It's why do you do this? Why do you chop it like this? Or why do you start in this key? Why do you start melody before drums? Why do you start drums before melody?
Well, let's have that conversation.
Why did you choose this 808 over that 808?
Melody or drums first? What do you choose?
I go melody first.
Me too.
Unless I want to fuck myself, then I go drums first.
Unless you feel like you're having a bad day, so you want to make
I want to make it worse. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And and it's one of those things. Or it's the opposite of a writer's block. I'm just, everything's starting to sound stagnant. I'll be like, you know what? So I'll tap tempo without looking, just like that. And then, all right, cool. I'll just hit record. Then, all right, cool. Let me throw the drums. Just feeling it. Just quick little drums, just a little 4-bar loop. And then once I have the drums to no quantize, I just want to like kind of catch a feeling. Then I'll be like, all right, sample or melody. And that's where it starts turning into a fucking, what do I want to do? I'll normally start with the melody first, just to kind of like, because my main focus has been like learning scales and shit. So I'll start fucking with like the piano, but it's a bitch, dude. It is a bitch because if you've always done melody first, you're it's like writing with the left hand, but the shit you can find doing it that way is so fucking dope.
You can. There's been times where I've done drum, because I don't do drums first. I do melodies first all the time. The only time I don't do melodies first is if I'm learning like a new, how can I say it? New drum pattern, like new drum pattern, right? Like, so let's say I would be learning like reggaeton or some other fucking genre, right? Like I'll normally start off with the drums first so that I can kind of learn what the bounce is, because if I don't know what the bounce is properly, I don't know how to work the melody around it. So that's
exactly.
Normally it's always melody until I can get that's one of the ones that I'm going to start learning how to do. There.
Yeah, you see, and that's why I like having the machine and the MPC, is that
wonderful.
I can trigger up some drums and I'll remember a song in my head. I'm like, okay, how the fuck and I'll fucking literally play it, and I'm like, oh, I got it now. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just a 4 count with the snare thing on the 2 and then 3. Yeah, and it gives that swing on it and shit like that. But that's the thing, like, and then you turn it mathematically, like, oh, I can see the grid in my head and shit. Yeah.
Once you start seeing it
Yeah,
you can kind
that
of
grid.
Yeah,
in your head, you're like, I know exactly what this is.
The subconscious grid in your head.
Yeah,
you just play. It's easy to play right after that.
Kick. And you're like, oh, I know what that is. This is fucking straight up classic boom bap drum. You know,
that's right.
Trap ones are still hard for me.
That one is just have fun. That's literally just have fun.
The one I always do, I do the triplet on the eighth bar. Yeah, that shit's just fucking. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, man, it's just fun. It just creates this space, and a lot of it is adhering to the space and the bounds. Mm-hmm. If you have a normal 1/16 hi hat, and then you just throw in a triplet in there, it's gonna show you how much space is in between them. Exactly. So as a listener, it creates this bounce that oh shit, and yeah, man, that shit is that fuck. I get it. I can nerd out on fucking drums and why we do shit so much. Dude.
So long.
Yeah.
So long.
But luckily, your ass actually did an adulting shit and sent us things to talk about.
Oh, we covered some of these already.
What's the workflow like? What's the budget?
Mm-hmm.
If you were to start today, right now, what would be your first setup? Like, what do you think you need to have? It's you and a friend.
Do I have a computer?
You make beats. Yes, you have a computer. Whatever
he
computer
raps,
you want.
I make beats?
Yeah.
Okay, so if he raps, just me being me, if he raps, then I would see if he has a mic. If not, then we're going half on the mic, or I buy the mic, whatever.
Yeah. What mic?
That's a good question.
Well,
actually, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't looked at any new mics.
I've had a few people hit me up, so I have these answers.
Okay, so
ready,
this is perfect. Because I have no idea on, and I apologize. I have no idea on like the lower price mics.
Dude, well, the first thing I would get. All right, you have your own computer. I would get that SSL audio interface that you guys.
Right, that one's hard. Or Focusrite. Focusrite is another good one. Yeah. And the one with two mics too, because
always you want two. Man.
The one with two mics because
it's
the one
twins.
And the one with one mic is very meticulous. You have to unplug the back, one of the XLR cables to be able to hear that. I don't know. It's just I worked with one that somebody had before, and I had never used one before. Get the one with two, trust me.
Get the one with two,
or the one that you're saying.
I like that one. I saw it, and I'm like, excellent. SSL is dope.
It is excellent.
It records in 4K, which I don't know what that means, but it looks clean. And for
it
I think it's like what 250, 220.
I think it was 2. Yeah, I think 250.
Yeah, I think 250 with taxes and shit like that. So I would get that, and I would get that microphone, the SMB7.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is essentially it's made as a quote unquote podcast mic. It's a dynamic mic, so it doesn't need phantom power. And if you're starting in on this, you should know what phantom power is.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't need that, but it's a clean sound, and they run like $400. So you're looking at $600, $650 total, and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I get whatever fucking headphone you want.
Yeah, well, these right here, these are good.
AKGs, yeah. These I think like $50.
I think they're $60 to $70. Yeah. They used to be $100, but it might be $70. And then the keyboard that we showed everybody.
Yes, $100 again.
$100.
So right there, you're looking.
So I mean, this is expensive. I'm not gonna lie, this is expensive to get into, and you're gonna be spending some money.
Mm-hmm. Hardware. And the thing is, you can go many routes. You can, you don't need
you can get hardware or you cannot get hardware. Yeah. Like depending on, that was like the question, like what are you trying to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you trying to make EDM? Are you trying to produce trap? Are you trying to, do you want to be more hands-on? Like that's another thing that'll add to your price value or your cost value.
Yeah, because like what's your focus right now?
Me?
Your focus as this, because I know you have 20 focuses right now.
Oh, music-wise.
Yeah, music-wise.
Like genre-wise?
Or what are you doing with your people? Like, are you focusing more on production? Are you focusing more on recording? Are you focusing more on mixing, mastering?
I'm focusing actually on all three.
On completing?
On three. Completing.
But I know there's like one takes priority over the other at one point.
Probably right now would be mixing.
So more engineering.
More is what I've been
VST plugins.
More VST plugins. What I've been more focusing on, right?
So yours is more in the box.
In the box.
Gotcha.
Yeah. more of that. And then also, well, see, it kind of goes hand in hand with the recording too, because getting a good pre-recording and which proper plugins to put in when you're recording the person, that too. So it's kind of like that with sub of recording, and then I guess beats would be right at
beats right in the bottom, because the beats are always there.
Beats are
That's
always
the thing.
there.
The beats are always fucking
Beats
there.
are always there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mine is the other way. I put production above everything else right now, because I do fucking same thing. I do all of it and shit like that, including writing. But my main focus right now is I fell in love with making beats.
Hell yeah.
I was hating it for a while. Not that I hated it for a while, is that when you know your sound, it starts becoming really fucking easy to just be like, oh, what beat you want? Yeah. Oh, here you go. But that's where I started getting more and more hardware. I got the Korg, the Juno, and the Prophet.
Oh yeah, you got all. You got all those fucking.
The next one we're gonna film over there, so that we could fucking for sure. So we could for sure fucking, you know what I mean? We gotta showcase the different studios and shit, man. The motherfuckers are out there wilding. We gotta love it, man. That's the beauty of it, man. And so yeah, whatever it is you're gonna go into, but if you are gonna get into this, understand it is something that takes time.
Patience is the.
It is a true investment.
Patience, learning, and then also too, like on top of just investing in financially, you need to invest mentally into the mental game that you're walking into. You know what I mean? This is not to scare anybody ever. This is only for me to just.
But you're gonna learn early on.
Yeah, just to give insight. You know, it's never to scare, because I always want people to, you know, integrate themselves in music. It's awesome.
It is.
But yeah,
but it's also
it's an uphill battle all the time, but it's not impossible.
No.
It's very rewarding. There's it's very rewarding.
There's parts of me that I'm like, God damn, man, if I just decided.
Give me one second.
Got you. All right, cool. Let me check the camera and make sure it's still filming too. Oh no, I'm just gonna end up. I'm putting it all together and cut it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. We're good.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Let me start. Here, I got a quote that I read yesterday when I was looking through fucking Reddit.
Nice.
It says there are people who know you and don't know you that are waiting to support you.
Yeah.
And that's
just fun, man.
That is. So I read that, and I'll tell you like the impact that it had for me, because it's a fucking uphill battle. Like I ain't gonna lie, like it's a mental game. Like that's what I was talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
See, perfect.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Yep.
It's a mental game. It really is a mental game, because you sometimes feel isolated. Like, to go back to earlier what we were talking about, like, yeah, we isolate ourselves in a studio, our little dungeons, but also with it too comes isolation. And sometimes with that isolation, you feel nobody wants to listen to your music, nobody fucks with you, and you know, it's literally just you versus. That's why, respectfully, I say, like, I already have enough competition with my own fucking head. Like, yeah. I'm trying to be inclusive. I'm trying to be unite people. You know what I mean? I already have enough problems creatively arguing with myself in my own head. You know what I mean? Like,
just trying to fucking continue,
you know, and to have the energy, mental energy, the mental stamina to just continue. Which, mind you, I'm gonna continue. There's no doubt about it.
I've tried quitting. It's not. It's
oh
impossible.
no, I've already gone this far. There's no quitting in my head at all. And this isn't to say or sound grim. This is just the insight that comes with doing this now for like 5 years. No, I'll say about 6 years now, because I started in 2015.
Fuck.
So 6 years, at least for me, just the insight and what I could give back is like, it's you have to put yourself in a certain mental state where, it's not you're not going to be amazing straight out the gate, and you have to be comfortable with being ass. You have to be comfortable with being horrible for a while. And
with
if
learning,
you can, with learning a new skill, and the learning curve is incredible. It's hard. It's like it's really difficult.
It is different too, because like, all right, like I started in 2003 doing this shit, like making beats and shit like that. I got into it early on, but I fell in love with it, and after a while, this was before YouTube, so I learned a lot of the shit I learned was just fucking beating my head up against the fucking computer and being like, fucking work, bitch. And but the thing you notice is how many people get into this shit and fall by the wayside, to no fault of themselves, just life. You know what I mean? Like,
or get into it for the wrong reasons.
Or get into it for the wrong, thinking it's gonna be a quick bag, and it's like playing the lottery, thinking, yo, this is my retirement.
This
like,
first ticket I'm gonna get is gonna get me.
Gang.
The second ticket I'm gonna get, we got it, we in the bag, and then you no wins, no lottery.
That shit, yeah. It's just it's damn near impossible. So you need to understand where you're at as is who you are. Like, I know I'll never quit this shit, and I know that because, like I said, I've tried quitting it, because if I put the time and energy and money that I've put into this anywhere fucking else in something practical, as like, let's say I'm gonna get an electrician's license, I would be the greatest fucking electrician in the Imperial Valley.
That's right, my boy. Talk your shit. That's right, my boy.
The fucking I've put 15 years of this shit, dog. I would be able to fucking wire everything. But with music,
wire a fucking Iron Man suit.
Yeah, I would have my own fucking Iron Man suit. Bet. But with this shit, it's it's a creative process that you're trying to make. If you're trying to monetize off of it, which is counterintuitive to creating. Creating in itself should be the goal.
The end result is just the
sharing it.
Yeah, sharing it, and the feeling, the good feeling you get from completing your work of art.
Therapy,
you know what I mean?
of like, I got this.
And
shit
the
out
secondary
of my system.
effects is people loving it. You know what I mean?
And that secondary effect may never come. And you have to be okay with that if you just don't know any other way. Like, I don't know any other way to translate the world that I live in aside from music. Like, this is how I used to explain shit. Like, I will be cooking and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's like layering the track. Like, I cook the garlic first and I throw in the onions and salt, pepper is a hi-hats. Like, I everything I do translates to music, because that's the lens in which I view the world. My dad does construction. He views the lens. His world is through construction, carpentry. Oh, this is done this way because in woodworking it's done this way. Right. And that's when you know, like, you're hooked on this shit. Right. When you start translating everything through these lenses of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everything I do always, for some weird fucking reason, always comes back to this. And everything about music, relationships, all that shit.
And then trying to make the music, you know, to like, at least music, right? So music, you want to share music, right?
Yeah,
you want to share. So. You would hope you would want to share music.
You're doing this to share it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because that is a very secondary rewarding effect, right? Like, just being able to do a song, complete a song, and being like, fuck, man, I'm very proud of this is amazing. And then the secondary effects of
pat yourself on the back for doing it.
So to go back to the quote that I said, that there's people that know you and don't know you, they're waiting to support you, is
that's
very,
where you release it.
It's very true. Like, there'll be people that will know that you do music, right? Or there'll be people that don't know that you do music that want to support you. They just want to support you in some way, but they don't even know that you want to support you. Yep. And you got to give people an outlet to support you. You have to
get to you.
Exactly. And that involves music, releasing music, you know what I mean? Releasing videos, good visuals for your videos, social media content, whatever that may be, vlogs, merch, you know, for them to be able to wear your t-shirt and be proud, like, you know what I mean? There's people that want to
social media, dude.
There's people that want to support, and this has nothing to do with any type of financial gain, nothing. This is just you as a creative and people wanting to just support you in any way. Like I want to be able to watch videos. I want to be able to consume your music. You know what I mean? I want to be able to go see you at a show. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I want to meet you. I want to meet you. I want to have a conversation with you.
I want to see if the person who I have in my head is as dope as I know he is.
Hey, I want to do what you're doing, right? But I'm struggling at this level.
Yep.
How did you know what I mean? This is from, you know, the person starting off to the person at the top of the game. Yep. You know what I mean? There's people that are waiting to support you, and they want an outlet to support you. I'm waiting to
support you, dude. I've always tried to make it a thing to show love to shit that I love. Please, like, yo, if you guys are hearing this shit, whoever's hearing this shit, and you guys have some music that's out and we haven't heard it yet, shoot it to us, man.
Please. We are always consuming new music. Please, and I like to spin music too. I like to DJ sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
So man, I'm always looking for new music to spin. Like
I'm always looking for new
music. If it's good, look, I look at it like this. If it's fucking good, I don't care how many plays, views, whatever the fuck it is. A song is good. A song is good.
I will throw in an extra 30.
Shoot it to us.
Yeah, man. I think that's a fucking perfect ending.
I think it's a perfect ending.
Yeah, man. Hell yes.
It's a good conversation.
All right. Real quick, I know you had that one thing. Plug and highlight.
Oh, yeah. Halftime. So halftime is exactly what it does. What it does is it
modulates the time.
Yeah. So what it does, it takes the half of the sound from each bar, and then it elongates it, so it makes like and then it drops the pitch down.
If you guys use FL Studio, it's similar to Gross Beat.
Yeah, but it's got like way more functionality.
Yeah, a lot more.
I like Gross, and so you have people that are like halftime, Gross Beat. Yeah, I fucking use both of them.
Yeah,
and they're excellent. I have different reasons. You always have people picking sides for shit. Don't pick sides. Don't be elitist. Don't pick sides.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's elitism. It's they just want to be like, nah, mine's better because I said so. It's like, all right, cool, man. All right, if this is your one, this is the hill you want to die on. Bet. Yeah, halftime's better.
Halftime is a good plugin. Use it for synths,
and it's dumb cheap. It's like
got
so $12 or something like that.
Yeah, it's very cheap. You know, it's got so many awesome little functionalities that you could just complete. Yeah, dog. The sound design with it, bro. Like you can make something. Like I said, you could cut that bitch in half, or you could just add a little bit to the mix. Turn it wet and dry knob. Yeah, dog.
I think mine would have to be, I stopped using a lot Valhalla delay and reverbs, man. It's one that I've seen in a lot of studios and shit like that. I barely copped it, and honestly I hate myself for waiting so long. But if you're looking for it's really good delay. It has these pitching effects sometimes where like you can actually like put a delay on there and they'll pitch up the delay, so it sounds like little chipmunks on the back end, or drop them down and get but it's really, really cool. Use the ducking, because what it'll end up doing, the ducking, is that when the person speaks, the echo comes after, and the next time they speak, it cuts the echo so that they don't there's no real clash between them and shit like that.
It's crazy that you said those two, because I like to use those two with halftime as well.
I would imagine so.
And the dope thing about
I use this shit out of fucking a Valhalla delayed. I use the Deco clarity. There's a preset, like it's a hi-fi clarity on my samples. I'll throw a chorus effect on my sample, and then I'll throw that on the back end. So if I ever cut off the sample, it leaves like a little trail. So it's there's no real dead sound, but like it gives it a dope fucking shimmer.
That's fucking hard as fuck. I forgot to add to halftime. The main reason why I like halftime is because you can only halftime one area of a frequency. You don't have to halftime the whole fucking thing. You can halftime just one area of the frequency, and that's not even the wet and dry knob. That's just like a bar that it has underneath right there. And you can even, I don't want that much of that, because you lower it too. Bro, it's like the functionality for it. You synths fucking. Yeah. I like to use it on really sharp, high pitched synths. And it just adds like a really dark layer to it. Yeah,
all right, cool. I gotta tweet that shit.
You have to get it, dog.
Last time I was here,
we'll put a link. Yeah, we'll put a link so people can see what we're talking about. But yeah, it's a really good. You could even put it on drums too, dog.
I'd imagine so. I would avoid it on the kick.
On the kick.
Really?
Yeah, no. I'm agreeing with you. Avoid it on the kick.
Avoid the kick, yeah.
Now put it on the just the
hats or like snare. Maybe on the snare, like to create like a kind
You can add. It has a little knob on it that you can go in like percussion mode, so you don't lose any of the not the transients. What I'm thinking of
the snap.
Yeah, snaps. Yeah.
I mean,
the transients.
It's not a real.
You keep your transient. Yeah. You keep your transients, and then you can make it swell too, where you completely like blend. You know, like I told you, it takes the half of every bar, and then it just elongates it. So it removes the second half of it. It just deletes the second half. You don't hear it.
Shit.
So what it does is with the swell, it kind of like
Blades
increases the attack of it. So everything's kind of blending together, which each bar is blending together. It has so many awesome you need to get it.
And as you can see, this is how we kill fucking hours.
Yeah, so we need to stop because we're just going to keep going. Okay.
All right, man. Do all that shit everyone always says. Out.